Okay, hello everybody. Let us begin this lecture. In the last lecture, we have seen that the rate theory, rate theory is able to explain the dispersion. Rate theory is able to explain the band broadening. Now we'll see in this lecture what is the relationship between the plate height and the column variables. You know very well that the efficiency of the column is dependent on the plate number is dependent on the plate number. Higher the plate number, greater will be the efficiency. And plate number is given by L by H, where L is the length of the column and H is the plate height. The plate height is dependent on the column variables, the mobile phase velocity, and the solute components. Now, Van Diementer's gave an equation which is called the Van Diementer's equation, which explains the rate theory, and the equation is H is equal to A plus B by U plus Cu, or H is equal to A plus B by U plus Cs plus Cm into U. Now this, what is this A, B and C? A, B and C are constant pertaining to the column under under the conditions of operation. H is the plate height which of the column of each plate of the column, and u is the velocity of the mobile phase, operating velocity of the mobile phase. Now these constants a, b and c, they are coefficients related to multiple flow path, longitudinal diffusion and mass transfer between phases. Now we'll see one by one what are these a, b and c. You have to create conditions that uh, A, B, and C are very low, or the terms B by U, Cu, and A are low. Why? Because if these terms are low, H will be low, and if H is low, your plate number will be higher because plate number is L by H. Since H is in the denominator, your if H is small, plate number will be higher. So you have to create conditions so that A, B by U and Cu are very low. Then only your H value will be lower and the plate number will be higher and the column efficiency will be more. Now let us see first what is this A. A is the coefficient related to the multiple flow path. Now what is this multiple flow path? Suppose you have a column. In the diagram, you will find that there is a marking of A and B. A is the starting point of the column or the top of the column, and B is the exit point from of the column where the detector is there at the end. The molecules, there are two molecules shown, molecule 1 and molecule 2. These molecules will travel through the column. Now the path taken by molecule 1 and the path taken by molecule 2, they are different because they will encounter the stationary support in the column according to the size of the particles of the stationary support. So they will have a torches path, and solute 1, solute 2, solute 3, etc. They will have different molecule 1, molecule 2, molecule 3, etc. of a particular compound. They will undergo different path uh, through the column before they reach the end of the column. Now this will result in a multiple flow path, and because of that, molecule 1, 2, 3, etc. they will come out of the column at different times. Now because of that, you are getting broadening, and this sort of diffusion is called eddy diffusion. Eddy diffusion is due to the, it is mainly due to the difference in the particle size of the column packing material. If the column packing material is of uniform size and small and spherical, then this eddy diffusion is lower. Multiple path will be there, but if the packing material is spherical and small, then the paths will be similar. We have to avoid this uh, multiple flow path, or on an average, all the molecules should have an almost same flow path or same distance of flow path. Now I'll show you another example, uh, another diagram which explains this multiple flow path. You can see in this diagram on the column is shown horizontally, but actually it is vertical. Uh, the blue band on the left side is the initial band of the compound, and the molecules will travel through the column. You can see that there are three molecules, one in blue color, one in black color. The path of three molecules are shown, one in blue color, one in black color, and one in red color. The blue colored molecule is having a path which is of a lesser distance, so it will reach the column first. And the black colored path, the molecule which takes the black colored path, has got to travel little more because its path is more tortuous. Uh, and the red path which is there is of a third molecule. Uh, this molecule has to travel more distance because its path in the column is even more tortuous. So the distance traveled by different molecules is different, and because of that, you don't get a sharp peak, but you get a broad peak. You have to avoid this difference in paths. The paths traveled by the molecule should be almost same or similar. Then only the peak obtained will be a narrow peak. And if the band profile is narrow, then the separations of the mixture is very good. Now, because of the multiple flow path, you will get band broadening, and they usually arise due to different size packing material. If you use, you can reduce the multiple flow paths. You can reduce the multiple flow path by what you can do is you can decrease the flow rate of the mobile phase. If the flow rate is low, then the molecules can diffuse from one stream, diffuse to streams of other paths. See, for example, a molecule which is traveling in path, black colored path, if the flow rate is low, it can jump to the path of it can jump to the blue colored path, or it can jump to the red colored path. So this jumping of the molecules can take place to different flow streams, and as a result of which all the molecules will keep on jumping from one flow stream to another flow stream. Net result is that all the molecules will have almost similar path. So that you can achieve only if the flow rate is low. Under high flow rate, it's not possible to cause this diffusion of the molecules to the streams of other path. So every molecule can then travel to different paths if the flow rate is low because of diffusion. Average taken by each molecule will then be same. The other way of reducing the difference in the distance traveled by different molecules is by taking spherical, small, uniform sized packing material. Now this, if you are taking a packed column with spherical size particles, then the path length of any path length in the column will almost be similar. Thus eddy diffusion or the term A can be reduced. Now the second term is the longitudinal diffusion, which is B by U. Now longitudinal diffusion is a band broadening process in which the solute diffuses from concentrated center of a zone to a more dilute region ahead and behind the zone center, that is towards and opposed to the direction of flow of the mobile phase. Now see, if you apply a perfume to yourself, initially the perfume will be in the perfume will be on you, but as time passes, the perfume molecules they can diffuse and go to any part of the room. So your friend, if he or she is present in any part, he'll be able to smell that perfume. So long as the perfume is inside the bottle, nothing will happen. You cannot smell it outside. But once you apply the perfume, because of diffusion, uh, the perfume molecules can travel from higher concentration region to lower concentration region. When you apply the perfume on your body, the concentration of the perfume is higher, but in the surrounding, the concentration is zero or negligible. So the molecules will go from, they will diffuse from high concentration to low concentration region. Same way, if you are having a sample, especially if you are having a gaseous sample, uh, what will happen is if you are introducing into the column, and as it is moving down the column under the mobile phase flow, the molecules will diffuse and they will undergo longitudinal diffusion. That means they can diffuse in all direction, but because the column is long, the diffusion is usually longitudinal. That is, the molecules will move forward ahead in the mobile phase and behind also in the mobile phase. So this diffusion, longitudinal diffusion, will cause broadening of the band, and this is proportional to the mobile phase diffusion coefficient dm. Now the uh, diffusion coefficient is dependent on the uh, viscosity of the mobile phase. And you will find that also it is dependent on the velocity of the mobile phase. If the flow rate is high, then the longitudinal diffusion is less. Longitudinal diffusion is inversely proportional to the mobile phase velocity. Because if the flow rate is fast, the molecule doesn't have time enough for diffusion. The diffusion from the center of the band to the edges has less time to occur. In liquid chromatography, this diffusion is very less because diffusion coefficients in liquids are much smaller than in gases, right? So this in the case of gases only, this diffusion is higher, and this B term is very high the because of the gas diffusion. The diffusion coefficient of gases is much higher if you are using gas samples. Uh, Now V by U for liquids is almost zero in the Van Deemter's equation because V is practically zero. For gases, however, V is quite large, and if you want to reduce the V by U term, you have to operate at higher flow rates. However, you cannot operate at very high flow rate also because we have seen in the diagram in the previous class of the h against velocity that at higher velocities the h value rises very high velocities the h value is higher, but compared to liquids the flow rates in gases they are much higher. Longitudinal diffusion is inversely proportional to the viscosity of the mobile phase, and that is very obvious. When you put a molecule, when a molecule is present in a viscous media, it has to overcome the resistance of the viscous media, to travel. So longitudinal diffusion will be less. So in GC, preferably viscous mobile phase are preferred. That means the mobile phase having higher molecular weight, they are preferred in GC. If you got hydrogen and helium, prefer helium because helium has got higher molecular weight and thus higher viscosity. Uh, this longitudinal diffusion is more prominent in GC. If you are using less viscous mobile phase, then this B term will increase. But if you are using a more viscous mobile phase, B term can be reduced. So either you reduce the viscosity, either you reduce B or you reduce B by U. If you cannot reduce B, you have to increase the mobile phase velocity. So this B term is uh, significant in GC, not in LC. Now let's see the third term, which is the mass transfer term C. Uh, the As we have seen in plate theory, that the sample molecules or the solute molecules which you are separating, they interact on a plate and transfer from the mobile phase to the stationary phase, and then they come back from the stationary phase to the mobile phase. Now this rate of transfer should be fast, it should be high. If that is the case, then your mass transfer term C will be lower. Now if the rate of transfer from the mobile to stationary and from the stationary to mobile, if it is less, then your C term will be higher. Transfer rate from the mobile to the stationary phase affects Cm. Transfer rate from the stationary to the mobile phase affects Cs. Right. So it is, you have also, you know that very well, a reaction always takes faster if you have got the components of the reaction mixture in smaller size. Same way, if you are considering in chromatography, if the stationary phase support particles, if they are small, and also the stationary phase film which is there on the stationary support, if it is thin, then the transfer from mobile to stationary will be faster, and again from the film of the stationary phase back into the mobile phase, it will be faster. Now there has to be an equilibrium between the mobile and the stationary phase of the solid molecules. If you are using very high mobile phase velocity, then there is no time for the solid molecules to get transferred from mobile to stationary and stationary to mobile. So this will result in higher C value. So rate of transfer must occur and also must occur very fast. But if you don't allow the transfer to take place by passing the mobile phase at high velocity, then the C value will become higher. Higher rates of transfer result in lower C values and lower H values and higher plate number and higher efficiency. Right? So in conclusion, we say that for A and C to be small, smaller packing material is required, and for B to be small, viscous mobile phase is required. In GC, the B term is important. In LC, the C term is important. Uh, Mobile phase velocities for should be higher for lower B by U values, and in GC higher velocities are used because that B term is very high there. Mobile velocities, mobile phase velocities should be lower for lower CU values, and that is because C value will be lower if CU term will be lower if U is small and C also is small. In LC, lower velocities are preferred. Now we'll see the effect of mobile phase velocity on the term A, B and C. You know the equation is H is equal to A plus B by U plus Cu. So the A term is not affected by mobile phase velocity, and that is, you can see in the diagram as a horizontal line. The blue line, horizontal line, is of A. It remains constant regardless of the velocity. The third term in the equation Cu is linearly proportional to velocity, so that Cu term increases if the velocity increases, and that is shown by the red line, sloping slanting upward red line. And B term which is there, the second term B by U will decrease as velocity increases. So the dotted line which is shown is of the second term B by U. So that's like, it's a, initially it is very high if the velocity is low, but as the velocity increases, the B by U term decreases very rapidly and gradually it becomes 0. So that dotted line is showing B by U. Blue line is showing A. Effect of dotted line is showing the effect of velocity on V by U. Blue line is showing the no effect of velocity on A, and the red line is showing the effect of velocity on CU. The line with the uh, crosses is the total line, that is the summation of the A term, B term and the C term, and H value is given by that line. Against velocity, H value is given by that line. That also we have seen earlier also in the previous lecture. In GC that curve is slightly different. In HVLC the curve is hockey stick. You have to keep, if you want faster separation, you have to keep the slope of the rising part very low. That is the C term, CU term should be lower. Now what happens if you decrease the stationary support size? This is shown in the diagram. As the particle size of the stationary phase is decreased, you will find that the plate height decreases. You can see in the diagram, various particle size will give you various curves of h against linear velocity, and smaller the particle size, smaller are the h values. For 0.1 to 0.15 millimeter diameter particle, the curve is low and is in the lower part, and the h values are lower. And as you increase the diameter, you'll find that the curve tends to go higher, and the h value tends to increase. Okay, so try to use small particle size so that you get lower h values. The next thing we have to see is the column resolution. The resolution of the column will tell you the ability of the column to separate two analytes. Now resolution is a mathematical equation, and that can be calculated by the formula RS is equal to, if you are having two species A and B, resolution between these two can be given by RS is equal to 2 times TRB minus TRA upon WA plus WB. Now what is this WA and WB? WA and WB are the base width of the peaks of A and B. TRB and TRA are the retention time of B and A. Now resolution, there are, in the next diagram you will see that there are various resolution. What is the effect of resolution separation? Now if you see, if the resolution is 0.75, then the separation is not very good. There is a complete overlap of the peaks A and B. If the resolution is 1, then the peaks are separated, but there is some overlap. Almost 4% overlap is there if the resolution is 1. But if the resolution is 1.5, then the peaks are well separated and there is only 0.3% overlap. You can see in this, it's written here, it is evident from the figure that resolution of 1.5 essentially gives a complete separation of the two components, whereas resolution of 0.75 doesn't. At a resolution of 1, it is that 1 is missing here. At a resolution of 1, zone A contains 4% of about zone A contains about 4% of B, and zone B contains 4% of E. So higher the resolution, better is the separation. Now we'll continue further in the next lecture. Thank you.